Away we go, thank you.
Okay, viral is a term used to explain how something spreads from person to person via direct contact, similar to like a disease. If you have a cold, you'll contact with someone else, passes it on to them. In terms of marketing, it's used how to describe how advertisements are passed on by the use of electronic devices such as computers and mobile phones. It relies on networking and people's need to pass on things they find entertaining to other people they think will find entertaining as well. This means that the more people talk about an advert, the more the brand awareness increases.
Yeah.
This style of advertising appears in many different forms, such as text message, email, websites, social networking pages. One of the most common forms of this is video advertisements. This is because one of the most successful ways of transmitting a message is through visual content rather than text or speech. Okay, Hotmail was one of the first corporations to use viral marketing to advertise themselves. The way they achieved this was by putting the link you can see here, get your free email at Hotmail, at the bottom of every email that was sent from their service. This basically meant that anyone that received an email could click on this link and were able to set up their own Hotmail account. This meant that basically all the Hotmail users were basically doing the advertising on behalf of the company. I'm sure everyone knows this. It was the 2007 advert that Cadbury released. It's a very, very, very simple advert. It displayed the gorilla playing the drums to a very well-known song in front of the purple background. Very, very simple but effective advert, which was able to create a visual of the advert in people's minds when they heard the song elsewhere, which then reminded them of the brand that it advertised. Generally, television adverts are quite simple. Many unintentionally go viral. With the rise of YouTube and other video sharing websites, this became even more frequent. This is because people suddenly have the ability to upload any video they wanted to share and have it seen by people over the world almost instantly. Websites like this display how many viewers or hits each video had, which encourage people to view a video as if they look and think, oh, well, loads of other people have watched that. It must be interesting, so I'm going to watch it as well. Quite recently, film companies have been using viral marketing to help promote forthcoming films. A good example of this is when J.J. Abrams produced Cloverfield. He relied quite heavily on viral marketing to advertise the film. He released a very, very mysterious trailer which didn't have any title, any film title or anything. All it had was the date there, a website, and the producer's name. That was all that was given to it. The rest of it basically was up to the audience. They were sent to the website, given links to other websites and social networking pages for the characters, and they had to basically work out what the film was out themselves. Quite often, viral marketing is very inexpensive compared to other forms of marketing. All they need to do is create a simple but innovative advert and release it out to the public. The rest of the work is done for them by the people who receive and pass on the advert. Summit Roy suggests that because of this, all companies will be foolish not to incorporate the use of viral marketing into all their advertising campaigns. Companies quite often find themselves competing with one another for the attention of the public. In the current financial situation, people are paying much more attention to what they're spending their money on and are cutting back on what they believe are non-essentials. This means that marketers need to work even harder to ensure that their adverts are sufficient to convince people to purchase their products over other ones. Catherine Quasselbash suggests that viral marketing is being used by marketers to brainwash the public. They do this by bombarding them with so much information that they're unable to think rationally. Often they're so gripped by the content of an advert that they don't realise it's an advert at all. This idea is similar to the hypodermic needle model, which implies that the media are forcing information to the public's minds and convincing them to purchase products. Perry and Whitaker wrote a book called Viral Marketing in a Week. They have a view of viral marketing which is very, very similar to the two-step model. They believe that the public are using the media to manipulate each other rather than the media manipulating the public directly. They suggest that by passing on an advert, the sender is associating themselves with it and are therefore tricking the receiver into thinking that they endorse the product. With the increase of smartphones and tablets with Wi-Fi and 3G capabilities, viral marketing has become even more popular. This is because people can now check their emails and social networking pages on the move, instead of previously when they had to wait until they had access to a PC, normally at home. Marketers are taking full advantage of this by placing links on print adverts, convincing people to join their social networking pages. For example, they say find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. They're also making use of QR codes, quick response codes, which are similar to barcodes. As the machine reads it and receives a certain information from it. In the case of a phone, it will read it and normally open up the web browser on the phone and open the web page of the company they're advertising. There is a common understanding between these people that viral marketing is used to force information to people's minds, either by the people who create it or by the people that pass it on. However, there are opposing views as to whether this is a good or a bad way of advertising their products. The success rate of viral marketing is quite high. Sometimes, even if an advertising campaign fails, it still creates publicity for the company. Some marketing companies might even agree that bad publicity is still better than no publicity at all. And the fact that viral marketing is able to adapt to the advancements in technology proves that it will continue to be a top form of advertising for many years. And then on to what ideas for my case study. I wanted to look at how marketing companies use colours, sounds, smells, etc. to influence their customers' perceptions. I want to look at how the repetition of adverts particularly implants into their long-term memory, and then when it's seen again, it comes back into their short-term memory, so on and so forth. It keeps going back and forth. I also want to look at how they use certain colours to create certain moods. For example, I've already read that red, yellow and orange create an exciting mood, so they're normally used for things like toys, sweets, something exciting, whereas purple, blue and green create a relaxing mood, are often used for things like soaps, beauty products, etc.
Okay, well done. Okay, I'll open it out to the group.
Just a quick thing, I think Simon might also say this, I wouldn't go down the memory route.
No,
Because then you'll probably have to go into like subconscious retaining like certain colours and making you feel like you should buy products or something similar.
yeah.
Maybe a passing comment. Yeah, you don't want to start unravelling consciousness and think, believe me, I'm going through that myself. So
memory is definitely relevant though, because
it's relevant. It is relevant. I think
you
I think you need to say, I think you can come up. I would only expect to see one sentence of a loose definition of what people say memory is, and make sure you use someone else like Dennett or someone like that. Just quantify it and just leave it there. Good use of Kazelbash. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Interesting, isn't it?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Refutable, but still interesting. Perry and Whitaker, never heard of those. Is that quite current?
I think it was 2006.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that, but interesting. Is that a journal article?
No, it's a book I bought online. It was actually called Viral Marketing in a Week. I think it's more aimed at companies to teach their marketing section how to use it, but it was very, very informative.
Interesting. Okay. So on to auto-linguistic programming, because that's what you'll want to look at, isn't it?
Yep.
Darren Brown then, isn't it? I think you're going to do that's your case study. Isn't it? Darren Brown, cognitive repetition. I think you could probably. I think your case study could just be based on using Darren Brown's The Heist or something as the example, because you could probably use, and it's perfectly proper to do this, use screen grabs of how he's used the the repetition of the colour green, for example, to evoke some kind of feeling which has been programmed over a period of time. And you could relate that, I think, to the whole Cadbury's, where they've just colour purple Cadbury's. Let's just extend that advert a little bit more, colour purple Cadbury's. Oh, and then we'll give the pack shot at the end. I think that's your case study, definitely. I think it's that simple. I mean, I wouldn't try and. I think you might need to look at an approach of somebody else's and how they suggest that auto-linguistic programming works. I don't think anybody absolutely knows. That's the sticking point. So I would maybe come up with three sources, or conflicting sources, contrasting sources about how they think auto-linguistic programming works. I was going to say, have a look at propagandism, because that's auto-linguistic programming. Lots of people have written on that, because that's essentially what that's it. That's what it does, and so does viral marketing.
Propaganda is quite a good link to viral marketing, and I think not only do brand, companies do that kind of thing, but also activists.
Yeah.
And it could be quite interesting to look at activist media products, kind of more homemade stuff that they need to use viral marketing because they don't have they can't pay.
Yeah, guerrilla advertising, maybe some kind of.
But I'm not sure how it necessarily links to your kind of, I would say, as kind of association. Like Simon was saying about the Cadbury's and purple, they just show it to you enough that you start to associate those two things.
I don't think you can measure how long that period takes. I don't think you can do that, but you can certainly.
I'm just finding it quite difficult to link the two things.
But
I
think
thought what you
that's
said about
subconscious.
viral marketing was really interesting. And then we've gone suddenly to, are you going to look at how people use colours, sounds, smells in viral marketing? Is that what you're saying you're going to do?
Kind of. Well, more sort of just, not necessarily viral marketing, but just marketing in general. Like, for example, if...
Sorry, isn't the case study viral marketing?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It would be interesting to see if there are viral marketing techniques in traditional marketing.
Well,
So-
I don't think there is.
So
anything
static,
else
so more traditional avenues of marketing. So I don't know. Well, we know it works, because if you open a newspaper and they go buy one get one free, keep this coupon, that's viral marketing in the traditional sense, isn't it?
Jez, is it important what's on the phone?
No, not at all, sorry.
I'm with Dan on this one. I think you need to keep it virtual or digital. I think Darren Brown is definitely something you should look at. And it's televisual as well. It's there. He definitely shows the process of how it all works. There's a vetting technique, which is what Big Brother do, what Cadbury's do, where the first ident is really short and you're not really sure what it's about, but it plants the seed of kind of and sparks our inquisitive nature in some way. And I think you need to keep it
Sort of subliminal, really, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't
Yeah.
that seed the biggest spot?
You might want to look at blipverts as well. That's quite an early form of viral marketing, where they cut in just one frame.
I guess there's different kinds of viral marketing. There's the kind of subliminal one that you're, like the Cloverfield, you're not really sure what is going on, and it kind of hooks you in some way.
And so definitely.
But then there's other viral marketing that's completely in your face.
Yeah, either
You know.
incredibly entertaining or
Yeah.
just so bizarre that you have to pass it on.
Go compare.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
Again,
perfect example.
another successful viral.
And
viral marketing.
negative stuff, is also really interesting in that kind of negative what I mean by negative is like they're purposely doing something to annoy you, frustrate you, and you're gonna laugh about it and pass it on to your friends, you know, and somehow the brand association is gonna follow that.
Yeah, as Matt
Go
said with
compare.
Yeah, go.
Go
Oh
compare.
my
Now they've
God.
started
So it's the
adverts.
biggest one, isn't it?
But now
Nokia
they've started the
ringtones.
adverts where they beat him up.
Sorry?
So that's what everyone
Nokia
wants.
ringtones.
Oh, the good old Nokia ringtones. They were always good.
Nokia ringtones, you know, things like that. And also when, I think the other interesting thing that I wouldn't concentrate too much is when people are most susceptible to it. I think you'll need to address it, but not unravel it, not unpick it apart. You'll need to say that, you know, you'll need to look at a study where people are most susceptible to viral marketing, and maybe I'm sure on National Standard Statistics websites it will give you an idea of when people are most likely to buy stuff online, and it's probably in the evening when they're watching the telly and obviously just before Christmas and that kind of thing. It would also be interesting to see what percentage of adverts or advert breaks there are on the run up towards Christmas and in January compared to the rest, to say the summer, for example. I'm sure there's a definite increase. I thought it was informative. I think Dan's right. I think you've still got a little way to kind of try and pin it down. Okay, but well done. Well done. And last but not least, David.
I'm going to change my surname so it begins May.